about this day, that year, and we bring some of the historic incident that happened today. And today is October 6th. So let us find out what is so important that has happened, which we should learn and know about. Well, we already know that there were looters and there were thugs who used to basically rob you when you are actually traveling through the jungle during the ancient times. And then there were railways, and when the railways came into existence, certain people, some ingenious people realized that they can rob the trains when they are moving. So the first recorded train robbery happened today on October 6th in the year 1866, and the Renault brother gang took $13,000. Can you imagine the value of $13,000 in the year 1866? So this is something which is the first train robbery. This train robbery was an inspiration to so many different novels and movies being made on this incident. All right, let's move to the next one. We know that Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa is not really a mountain. It's actually an extinct volcano, and it used to erupt many millions of years back, but right now it is extinct and it is not active. However, this mountain is so high, as you can see in this picture, that it has the snow covered peaks in the middle of Africa. Well, Africa, you're not supposed to have any snow or any ice formation on the ground because it is supposed to be hot, but Kilimanjaro is so high that it has this feature just like Himalayas, and it's very high. It's very difficult to climb that. And first recorded climb to this mountain, or rather I would say volcano, is recorded in the year 1889, and this feat was done by the German climber Hans Mayer and an Austrian friend of his, Ludwig Pertscheller. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but this is historic because on October 6, 1889, Mount Kilimanjaro was conquered by man for the first time. All right, let's move to the next one. We know about movies. Movies have come a long way, and we have seen these movies in theaters and in our home, on television, and now we are streaming the movies. But to record a movie, you need a special equipment. A normal camera cannot record a movie. You need a motion capture camera, and that was invented by the great Thomas Alva Edison, and he demonstrated for the first time the movie camera in the year 1889 on October 6th. So it is a historic day for the scientific community because the movie camera was invented in the year 1889 on October 6th. Let's move to the next one. Well, again, we are talking about Hitler because Second World War created so many incidents and events which are important every day. So in the year 1939, Adolf Hitler announced some regulation to regulate the Jewish problem or Jewish population, and this was the first one because they had declared a war on Poland, and they also wanted to control the Jewish population across the Europe. So this was the first regulation which was brought in, and subsequently there were so many other bad things were done, but this is a starting point. October 6, 1939. Well, let's talk about another president now. He was a war hero. He was the commanding leader of the entire combined armed forces of Allies. He was the General Eisenhower, and in 1945, after defeating Germany, he traveled to Hague a city where the International Court of Justice is located today. But important thing is, in 1945, on October 6th, he traveled by train, which was known as Hitler's train. So he got hold of the Hitler's infrastructure, paraphernalia, and he traveled to Hague in the train which was built specifically for Hitler. All right, let's move to the next one. Another president, President Harry Truman, very, very important president for the American people, American history. And today, on October 6, 1949, he signed the Mutual Defense Assistance Act, which resulted in NATO. So what is this act signifies? It basically means that the European country will basically also have some sort of collaboration when it comes to defending their territories, and collectively they defend. So it's basically sort of a next step after allies. And allies fought together against the Axis power during Second World War, but the war was over in 1945. So what do we do? So in future such event does not happen. They decided to collaborate together and combine their defense forces, pretty much like they did during the Second World War. And this time this is much more organized, and this is called NATO. And lately NATO has been in news. We all know that. So that is the current affair, so I'm not talking about that. October 6, 1949, President Harry Truman created infrastructure or signed the treaty which led to formation of NATO. All right, let's move to the next one. Another leader, Joseph Stalin. He was the ruthless leader of the USSR, the Russian Federation. So in 1951, Joseph Stalin announced that they had the atomic bomb, and they surprised everyone, because until that time only United States had the atomic bomb, and they had used it twice on Japan. But Germany was also in the process of developing the atom bomb, but they never succeeded. But Joseph Stalin was the second country or the second leader to announce the possession of atomic bomb in the year 1951 on October 6th. Another president, I think the president loved October 6th, and they did many important things today. So in 1961, JFK advised the American citizens to build the fallout shelters, because in those days the threat of nuclear war was looming very, very high among the people across the world. And JFK was a very, very popular US president, and he aptly advised people to basically build their shelter underground where the radiation does not affect in case there is an atomic war. So that is why in US there is a tradition of building underground shelter. Whenever you build a house, and if you have the resources, money, you actually build the underground shelter for yourself. And it is now called, it is not called fallout shelter. Now in the modern times, it is called doomsday shelter. So in case of any eventuality, the shelter which is underground can protect you, can save you from that eventuality, even the asteroid hits. So this all started in 1961 on October 6th. Let's move to the next one. Again, another popular leader from Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah Khomeini acquired the power, removed the monarch of Iran, and converted the Iran as a country which was very democratic in their outlook. And they had a very old civilization called Persian civilization, as old as the Indian civilization, or not as old as maybe half the time, but nevertheless they are one of the oldest civilization in the world. It's called Persian, and their descendants are current day Iranians. But Ayatollah Khomeini was a cleric, and he didn't like the open culture, and he wanted to bring in the Islamic culture to his country. So he carried out a rebellion, removed the king from the power, and acquired the power in Iran, converted Iran into Islamic country that we know Iran of. Surprisingly, the next door neighbor was Iraq. They are also an Islamic country, but Iraq declares in the year 1978 that Ayatollah Khomeini is an undesirable person on October 6th. So they made an official declaration that they don't want anything to do with Ayatollah Khomeini in the year 1978 on October 6th. So some of these very interesting events happened on October 6th, and many of these things are done by the global leaders. So hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. If you have any comments, any suggestions, or any view on the information that I shared, don't hesitate to send me your comments. And better would be to join me live tomorrow at 10:30 when I bring all this interesting information and trivia to you live. So friends, I take your leave today. You please take care, enjoy your day, and see you tomorrow.